Welcome to Insight Builder channel. How to set up Matrix Synapse development server. If you guys have these questions, what is a Matrix server? How to set up a home server? What are the benefits of using Federation servers? How to bridge Mattermost, WhatsApp, and many other services with Matrix? Take a look at this series of playlists in my channel. If you go into this playlist, you will see that there are various videos that starts from the introduction to Matrix and how to own your communication, and it goes on adding more information related to other open source servers and various ways to bridge these open source servers like Mattermost with Matrix, WhatsApp, and Discord, etc. with Matrix. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. Before we even learn how to set up a development server for Matrix Synapse, we need to understand why we would want to set up a development server. The purpose of the development server is to contribute to the Synapse server code base. That is the primary purpose. Synapse server code base is written primarily using Python 3 and Twisted framework in Python. Apart from that, Rust framework, Rust programming language is also used for a couple of modules. So those are the prerequisites. I'll be discussing those things in a couple of minutes. Apart from that, apart from you contributing to the code base, you might be someone who is totally new to Matrix server and you want to experiment with various features. Or you may not want to create a new domain and do all this stuff like getting a static IP and connecting your home server with the internet, etc. You might want to test it in the local environment. For that particular purpose, this development server can be very helpful. In fact, this development server, you can connect with the actual front-end UI like element.io. You can use that UI and connect with this server. By end of this video, you'll be seeing it, and you can actually start working on it. It's as simple as doing a real server in a local environment. The benefit is that there is no additional cost involved. You don't need to worry about as I was telling about the domain names, about getting the IP address, static IP address, etc. You can also work on bot development since your the server is local. You can work with various kinds of bots that is already available in the Matrix ecosystem, like the Matrix Neo framework. Under Matrix Neo framework, I had already covered the Matrix Commander bot in the last video. You can experiment with lots of new features. So development server is not just for the contributors of the source code. As a user, as a person who is interested in Matrix server, home server, and how to understand how these federation between multiple servers work, all these things you can learn using this particular development server. That is one of the key aspects. Apart from that, if you want to go ahead and do the actual code contribution, you can visit the contributing guide in matrix-org github.io. So this is the particular link. I'll be sharing this link over the YouTube description of this particular video. You can find it out below. If you visit this particular website, particular page, you'll be given the complete breakdown of what is required. I mean, this is the prerequisite. You can see the various prerequisites here. I'll be sharing the details in a couple of minutes. Then the next thing, how to get the source, how to install the dependencies, running Synapse server. But there are certain challenges and impacts that you will have. Those things I'll be explaining to you in this particular video. Once you get the server up and running, once you're able to get the basic use cases of the server out of your way, then you can start writing the updates. So the framework, the way the Matrix development team works is clearly explained here, and there's a lot more discussion on how the entire code base, how you have to work with Git, how you have to work with the release cycle, etc. has been already provided here. I am primarily going to work only up to this running the Synapse via Poetry. So I'll be touching only up to this step. Rest of the steps, I would request you guys, if you're interested in contributing, then I would request you guys to look into this and start contributing. That will be a great addition to the server. Let's go back to the presentation. What are the steps involved in the development server installation? First, you need to read the prerequisite section of the documentation. So I had showed this particular documentation. This is the documentation I'm referring to. You need to properly read this. This is one of the primary mistakes I made when I initially started working on the Synapse server, development server. There are, first of all, the server runs inside Linux only. So the suggestion by the Matrix Synapse development team is to run the server inside WSL, that is Windows Subsystem for Linux, if you are using Windows OS. I am using Windows OS. However, I'll be using a VirtualBox. I felt the VirtualBox VM is much more stable and more controllable compared to the WSL, because when I was trying to install Postgres in the WSL, I was facing some kind of errors and unwanted warnings, which was kind of bit of confusing to me. To avoid such kind of unwanted distractions and troubles or warnings and errors, it's better to get the VirtualBox itself. Next, we need Python 3 and also we need Rust. So these are the two other things that we need. We need to install PostgreSQL. I'll be showing you the PostgreSQL steps or the commands that is required. However, you don't need PostgreSQL for the development server. You can work with SQLite backend itself. In this video, we will be discussing about using the SQLite backend only. I will not be diving into the Postgres installation, etc. If you go to this particular video, self-hosting Matrix server challenges and solution, if you go through this video, there you will find how to set up the Matrix server, set up the Postgres server. Okay, let's get back to the steps. Once your Postgres installation is complete, you need to install pip. Your Ubuntu installation may not have pip, so you have to install pip. After that, only you can install Poetry and ensure that you use 1.5.0. When I was installing the latest Poetry, I was facing some kind of issue when I was trying to bring up the server, and when I checked with the team, the Matrix Synapse server development team, we can connect to them in this particular community. So if you click this, another one window will open where you can connect to this particular room inside matrix.org home server. This is a public server. You can connect here and you can ask your questions and you can raise the queries in this area. After you install Poetry, we need to install the Python dependencies. For that, the command is a little bit different, so I'll be showing you that also. I will be sharing a list of commands that you need to follow. So this command is, these list of commands, I will be zooming in a bit so that you guys can see that better. In that way, it will be easier for you guys also. Just give me a moment, zoom in. So these are the commands that is based on the scenario on October 2023. Things will change. So even the various libraries, the servers that hold the binaries can change. So a lot of things can change. So this particular write-up or the steps to install the development server, Synapse development server, is based on October 2023 version. If there is any modification, I'll be doing the modification and updating in the description of the video itself. You can find it out in the description below. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay, here we saw that we can, after you install all the dependencies, we need to create the Matrix Synapse folder under var log. So this is required for logging the server logs inside the Ubuntu machine. After that, there is a start.sh script that is inside the demo folder. I'll be showing you all these things in a couple of minutes, and then you can connect to the server using element.io. You have to go to this particular matrix-org github.io. I'll be sharing the link, and there you have to go to this GitHub repo and start. First of all, fork the repo. It's very important that you fork the repo and you start working on the forked repo. Let me go to the, yeah, this is the matrix.org's GitHub repo. If you go into Synapse here, let me zoom in a bit so that you guys can see it better. Once you go in here, you can click on this fork button, and you can fork it to your local account. So the entire repository will get forked into your local account, and from that local account you can start working on you can then do the git clone. So that is how this git clone works here. So if you see here, git clone github.com, your GitHub username. So that is why you have to clone it to your local username, and then you have to use checkout develop. So this is the branch in which the various development happens inside the Synapse repository. That's why you have to checkout develop, and then you need to go to the next step. Let me run through the commands before we actually go and start working on these commands one by one. The reason why I'm doing this is you will first of all get a holistic picture of what to expect, and that will also help you to attempt trying to install this dev server. I'll be diving into, and I'll be explaining you the various challenges I faced and how I overcame those challenges and got the server to connect. We have to install Rust. We have to do the Postgres installation. As I was telling, this is an optional step. Do the installation. We need to do the installation of pip and also installation of V environment, that is virtual environment. We need to do the pip install of Poetry. You can do a pip upgrade also. That is something that I actually insist, that in that way you will get the latest updates from the Python packages. After the pip install Poetry is completed successfully, then you can do pip install extras all, extra systemd, and extras cache memory. If you look at the documentation, the Poetry install --extras all, this is only is provided. These two extras are not provided. This is required because there is some kind of inconsistencies happening in the development server at the time I am explaining. So I have included this. When you are trying this video, and if your extras all works, then you don't need these two options. As of now, these two options are required. Before you execute this step, you need to install lib systemd dev. Here I have made a mistake. Without installing this, you cannot actually install extra systemd. It will not work. Moving forward, you have to create this folder, matrix synapse folder, using this make directory, and you need to give world permissions to matrix synapse. Once this is done, then you can edit the demo start.sh script. This is a script name. You can edit it, where you can reduce the number of servers to single server. Because you are going to run in a VM, it's better to use single server, because each server will need approximate at least 500 to 600 MB of RAM. Once that script has been edited, you have to do a Poetry run. This is very important. You have to run the script under Poetry run. Only when you do that, the dependencies that you install using Poetry will work. If you run it in the regular way by just using ./demo/start.sh, it will not work. So I made this rookie mistake, and then when I went back to the Synapse channel, they told me this. So that's why I'm sharing this. These things, even if you are experienced, you might miss this. So that's why I'm sharing this. You can connect to the server once it is up. Finally, we have to stop the server that we have started, and we have to clean the server installations. Here I have already got a list of VMs, and out of those VMs I am going to use two virtual machines. One is the demo VM. So that's what I'm going to start right now, and I'm going to start it using the headless mode, so that because I don't need to use the UI, I'm using the type headless mode. The VM is coming up, and after that, after some couple of seconds, I'll be able to SSH into this particular VM. If you guys are thinking, okay, how is the VM setup done? So I'll be showing the VM setup in a second. So let me open the VirtualBox here, and let's go into the VM setup. Even though I am using the headless mode, I am opening the UI just to show you what is there inside the VM setup. Let me bring the VM setup here, and you can see that I have various VMs here already. The settings that you are seeing here in advanced, in the network, in the advanced, the network mode is NAT mode, and the cable is connected. and the port forwarding is where the various ports are forwarded. These ports forwarding has to be configured. Here the SSH port forwarding has been done. In this particular demo VM, I'll be showing you how the initial steps are being done, and the matrix clone that you're seeing here, this particular VM has already got all the installation completed. I'll be using this at the end so that to avoid unwanted time spent in installing and downloading, I'll be sharing it again. If you see here in the port forwarding, you will see all these ports are forwarded. This particular step I have not mentioned in this list. So this is something that you guys have to do it by yourself. Let me close this and let me go to the command prompt and let me do a SSH -p 2222 Kamal at 192.168.100.118. This is the IP that I am using in the local NAT area, and it is asking me for the password. Just a minute, and I have given the password, and this particular Ubuntu or demo VM has been already installed with, as you can see here, Ubuntu 22.04.3. I'll be going through the motions of getting the versions of various applications that we need to work with. Python 3 version, if you check the version. So these are the various things that you guys have to do it before you start the development process. So Python 3 is 3.10.12, and Git version is, so if any of these things are not available, then you need to install it using sudo apt install git python 3 or whatever it is. And then we have the git. We have to check we have whether we have vim. If we don't have vim, then we'll not be able to edit it. So I think this will not have vim. If it is not there, then I will install vim now. So what I did is I started by installing a single virtual machine. So this was the first machine where I installed Ubuntu 22.04. And once the basic installations of Python, the Git, etc. has been completed and it has been updated, the OS has been updated, then I started cloning this into multiple different virtual machines. So in this way, what will happen is this machine will be kind of a base machine on which I can fork. So these are all the various forks that I've created from this base machine. In this way, it is very, very easy to experiment. So this is one of the things that I want you guys to take away from this discussion. And let us go to that. This video is going to be a little longer, so you can always come back. So right now I am starting the installation process. This is going to take a couple of minutes, at least. To my expectation is at least 30 minutes if you're going to do it step by step. So just follow it. Whenever you are facing any challenges, pause the video and then come back to it. So that's how I myself learn and do. So let's do the sudo apt install NeoVim. I will be using NeoVim because this is one of the favorite editors that I use, but you guys can use Nano. So there is no issues with that. You guys can go ahead and use Nano. And second thing that I want to inform you is that when you're new to Linux, there will be challenges like how to access the file server, how to access the Linux terminal, how to do SSH. You may not be knowing how to configure SSH inside the Ubuntu machine. All these steps have to be attacked separately. So before you even start this video, if you are unable to SSH, then what you will do? You will have to complete that activity. You have to learn about this from elsewhere, and you should be able to do an SSH into the terminal. Okay, the installation has been completed right now. So we have Vim available with us. So you can check the Vim here, and you'll see that the details of the NeoVim is provided to us. Now we have Python 3, we have the Vim, and we have Git. Next we need to check whether we have Python pip. So let us do a pip version. This is the next thing that we need to install, right? So I'm going to check pip version, and we see that we have pip 23.3.31, and next we need to check whether we have venv. So that is Python module. So let us do Python mvenv. The error, you see that here it's saying that Python is not recognized. That is because I need to use Python 3 in case of Ubuntu, and we see that venv is also available, so there is no issue with the venv. all these basic prerequisites are done. So we have Git, we are able to work with Python 3. We have when it comes to the installation of Postgres, as I was telling you, I am not going to do the installation in this particular video. You can actually take a look at the other videos. Let me go back to the terminal, and let me do a sudo systemctl status postgresql.service. In my case, if you see, the PostgreSQL has been already installed. As I was telling you, I have done all the installation of basic things that is required in the Ubuntu server, and then I cloned it here. I actually cloned it, forked it into multiple different servers. So that's why you see that it's already available. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an ls. So if you do an ls here, you'll see there are various folders here, and among that, Synapse is one of the folder. This particular folder is the folder that we can get it once we do the git clone. So you have to do a git clone, and let me complete this command so that you guys can understand. So I am in the home directory. This is the home directory, and I am going to type git clone, and I am going to paste this command. So here I am cloning this entire synapse.git repository. So once this cloning is done, then what I will get is I will get this particular Synapse folder. The Synapse server is it has almost some 240k files. 240k files, so it will take a bit of a time. You can download it and keep it ready. Once you have downloaded the Synapse code base, then is the next step. So we have downloaded the Synapse code base, and we have to do a git checkout develop. So let us go back. cd into Synapse, and once you cd into it, you can say git status. You can see the git status here, and there is your branch is up to date with origin develop. This is the one that I was talking about. So you have to say git checkout. You can check it out here. So most probably you can see the git branch, and you can see there is only one branch, and that is git develop. You can get the information from this way. Here is where you have to start the activity of installing Poetry. Let us start that process. Pip install Poetry, and as I was telling in the steps, that you have to use 1.5.0. If you just say pip install Poetry, it will install the recent version, and the recent version was creating some kind of issue when you are trying to bring up the server. So the development team told to go with Poetry 1.5.0. So if I do a pip install here, so it will do the installation process for me. In my case, Poetry must have been okay. Here the Poetry has not been installed, so it is installing it, and once the Poetry installation is completed, then I need to go ahead and do the installation of libsystemd-dev. So this is actually important for proceeding further. Let's go back. You see that the various supporting document libraries are getting installed for Poetry. Let me come back to this after the installation. Okay, now Poetry has been installed. You can check the installation through pip freeze, and you can say grep Poetry, and you'll see that Poetry 1.5.0 is installed. So we have Poetry 1.50, Core 1.60, and plugin export 1.50. All these three are ready. After this, we need to do sudo apt install libsystemd-dev. Let me recheck that. Libsystemd-dev. So once you install this, then the libsystemd-dev environment will get installed, and after this you can go ahead and install Rust. In order to install Rust, you have to use this particular command. So where did I get this command? It looks really complicated. Okay, don't worry about it. All you need to do is go to the contributing guide, and if you scroll up, sorry, if you go to what do I need, and if you click on this Rust up, you will be taken to the rustup.rs, and there you will be seeing this particular link. So all you need to do is just click on this, and then come back to the excuse me, come back to the terminal, and you have to do a paste. So once you paste it, what will happen is it will go ahead and install Rust. So we will be installing Rust here. I think I have not installed Rust in this system. So let us see what happens now. It's first of all downloading the installer from the rustup.rs, and then once the installer is downloaded, immediately it is piped into the sh executable. So you saw the pipe command, right? From there, the installer is starting. The installer is informing you here that it is going to install Rust, and it is going to make some modifications. It's going to install the tool chains in .rustup folder. It is going to install the cargo tools in .cargo and .cargo/bin. It's going to modify your profile and bash RC. So these are all required for Rust to work, and then for the Synapse server to work. If these are having some problem, then Synapse server will not come up. So keep this in mind. Here you don't need to do anything, just say 1 and press enter. It will install based on the provided information. So once you press enter, so it will start doing the installation. So here we see that Rust is installed, and great. So your Rust is up. So let me see Rust C, and version should give me a version. Let me see. Yeah, we see that Rust 1.73.0 is installed. Let me go back to the presentation, and we have completed right now all the steps. So 1, 2 has been completed, 3 has been left as optional. Anyway, the installation been completed. I will not be using Postgres in this discussion, so I am not doing any of these steps, but I would suggest you guys to take a look at the home server installation discussion. You will be understanding each of these steps. Then we have installed both Python 3 pip and venv. We installed Poetry, and we installed Rust. All these 5 steps we have completed. Next, so after doing the installation of Rust, it is always better to do a logout from your SSH connection and then reconnect back to the SSH. So I'm doing that right now, and I'm reconnecting to the SSH back. So there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind before you go for the Poetry installation step. So one of the things that I had missed here is, before we execute this Poetry install, since we are connecting via SSH, okay, restarting right now. One of the points that I missed during the initial step is I did not inform that you need to execute export Python keyring backend equal to keyrings.backends.null.keyring. So this particular variable in the bash environment has to be set for Poetry install to work. This is related to some internal setup inside Poetry. I am not going to dive into that right now. All you need to do is execute this command. So let's go into the terminal right now. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to type this, and I'm going to enter this. And after this, let me go into Synapse. Once you are in Synapse, which we already cloned later and cloned earlier, sorry, get branch. We said that we are in develop branch, and we are going to say Poetry install --extras all --extras system d --extras cache memory. So these are the steps that you need to, these are the flags that you need to use and execute. Once you do this execution, the Poetry install will create a virtual environment in your local setup, local machine, and inside the virtual environment, it will start installing the various packages that is required for Synapse server. So here the installing dependency starts, and at this moment there is no any new dependencies to be installed, and here it's showing this because all the dependencies I have already installed. So that's why it is showing this. In your case, you will see there are lots of separate packages that get downloaded, and it will get installed. Since you have followed all the steps, you will not face any kinds of error. In my case, I faced considerable amount of errors, and then I have provided the resolution for you guys. So that's why you will not find any error. And after this, you will see installing the current project. the matrix-synapse project will get installed, and then the installation will just complete. It will not give you any kind of command or anything. It will just complete. That's it. Your matrix synapse server installation is local server is completed. Next, what we need to do is we need to actually bring up the server. So if you go to the contributing guide, let me go back here. So if you go to the contributing guide, you'll see in the contribution guide, after the installation process, the running the Synapse process, they have given the steps that you need to proceed here, and you need to use poetry run, and you need to call this particular command. But there is a better way, which I realized after some snooping around, that is called demo scripts. These demo scripts are available inside the repository itself, and the demo scripts allows you to bring up three, not just one, three servers, Federation Synapse servers inside the virtual machine itself. So all the details are provided here. We don't need three. All we need is a single server, because at the end of the day, as I was telling you, three servers are required if you are going to have a full-fledged development environment. You are going to do testing, you are going to work with various kinds of features. But here our intention is not full-blown development. We want to use the server, and we want to learn how the server works. We want to do some bot development, where for that all you need is a single server. So what we can do is we can go back to the repository and we can go into the demo. So let me do an ls so that I can walk you through the various files and folders in this repository. The folders that you need to concentrate are demo. You can see that here, and the Synapse. So this is one of the folders, but you don't need to change anything here. Rust folder is where all the Rust related modules are available, and then the thing that you need to be aware is that inside the demo, so let us go into the demo. Inside the demo, you will have three files. You will have clean.sh, start.sh, and stop.sh. We need to do the modification on start.sh. What start.sh does? Basically, start.sh creates the home server.yaml file configuration. So if you go back to this particular contribution guide, and let us go back one step. After installing the dependency, when you have to run the Synapse server, we need to have the configuration file home server.yaml, right? This particular configuration file gets created by this script, not just for one server. For all the three servers it gets created. But in my case, what I have done is I have modified this particular line. You clone this particular repository, you will have 8081 and 8082 here. You will have three ports. So each of these ports, there will be separate server that's separate YAML file that gets created, and each of this server will get. So this is the generate config command that is being executed, and the YAML file is getting created. After the YAML file is getting created, the TLS keys. This is how the local HTTPS TLS keys are generated. You should not use this in production. As I was telling you, this is a development server. We cannot use this in production. If you're going to use it in production, you need to have your own domain. You need to have your own static IP and all those stuff. Also, you need to use the certificate provided by known certifying body like Let's Encrypt or Certbot, etc. Not this way. So this is only for development. I am again repeating. After this, there are lots of configuration customization that's getting done, and if you scroll down here, if you want, you can disable the TLS. That's one of the options, but we don't want to disable TLS. Keep the TLS as it is. Don't change any of these things in the script. The script works out of the box. All you need to change is this line. So you need to change the line number 17. You have to remove these two ports. You should only keep it like this. So in this way, what will happen is only one server will get created. So I'm going to edit this and I'm going to come out, and next I'm going to move out into the root folder. So Synapse is the root folder. Here I'm going to say poetry run, and I'm going to call demo start.sh. And once I do this, you will see that the configuration file gets created, and after that the Synapse server comes up. You will see the server getting started, and there will be some kind of log that is written, and after that you can start connecting to the server. So you see that the logs are getting written, and after the log is completed, here the customization and the server bring up is happening. Once that is done, next you need to go into the demo folder, and you will see inside the demo folder there is a new folder here, 8080. If you do an ls on 8080, you'll see that there are lots of files here. Okay, so all these files are created by the server by the command that we ran right now, so you don't need to worry about it. It is all done automatically. Now it is time that we log into the server that has been brought up. Let us go to element.io. Once you go into element.io, you will, okay, let me go back a bit so that you will go into sign in. You will click on open element web, and once you go into open element web, there you can see that you can sign in. Click on sign in, and you have to edit. So in this location you have to say https localhost and 8080. This is the, okay, just a minute, here's a mistake. You have to do this way. Once you do this, if this particular localhost data, I am actually getting it from this area. So if you go, how did I get here? So if you go into Synapse demo 8080, if you do an ls, here, you will see 8080.config. So do a cat on 8080.config. So this is the configuration file that has been written by the start.sh. So that's how it came into existence. And you can see the server name is localhost at 8480. If you scroll down, the IP address to which we need to connect is also provided here. So if you scroll down here, we can actually see that the public base URL is localhost :8080. And since the TLS is updated, since the TLS is available, that means you have to connect it through HTTPS. That is the reason why we are using this particular port. So let me say continue, and you see that the home server URL does not appear to be a valid matrix server. This can happen because if the port server is wrong. So let us try with 480. Okay, just a minute. So since I was not able to get the actual connection to the server, let me first of all check whether I'm able to reach the home page of the server. So let me do a https /localhost, and I'm going to say 8480. So if I do this, I should be able to get this particular page. You might actually get an intermediate page where it is saying that the page is not secure, and you will get some kind of a warning. Once you say advanced and go to that page, you should be getting this. This means the server is up inside this particular Ubuntu VM. So for sure the server is up. Next, one more thing that I missed is that the log file is inside the folder itself. You don't need to worry where the log file is. If you are going to follow the start.sh route, then the log file will be in the same folder, demo folder. If you are going to follow the route of the contribution guide, and if you use this particular route, at that time the home server.log file will be inside the var/log/matrix synapse. So that is the difference. At this moment, these things are something you will actually face some challenges and you will recover it, but still I'm giving a heads up. Let us go to the window, and we can see that the matrix server is up. So I'm going to open element.io, and now I'm going to sign in. This will be how the sign in process starts. So I'm going to provide the username. So there are various other servers that I'm part of, but I need to work on localhost 8480. Right. And once I say continue, it continues right now. Earlier I had clicked it wrongly. And I don't have an account, so I'm going to create an account, and the username is this user, any name. I mean, who is going to question me? Next, I am going to give a password, which is going to be sufficiently strong, and that's good. and then I'm going to register. Once the registration process completes, it will directly sign in into the server. It will set up the keys, but it will not tell you to store the keys. It will store the keys by itself, so you don't need to worry about it. Next, it will give you an option to work with any of these things. So if you click friends and family, and after that it will get into the server. As of now, I am going to say no, that's not required, and you can start that. You have created the account, you can start finding friends, downloading apps, you can update your profile and enable notifications. There are many things other than that you can do here, like you can create more accounts, and you can invite those accounts into this area, and you can start creating rooms. This particular discussion on how to use element.io, I have discussed extensively in another one video. Take a look at that video so that you can understand a lot more about this. We have seen all the steps. We have gone through the entire process. We have seen the various pitfalls you can go through, and also some of the challenges you might encounter after even starting the server. We saw where the log files are located. I actually showed you the folder structure of the Synapse repository itself. We saw how we can connect to the server using element.io, and then we have done everything. Now we want to stop the server. So for that, we have to go back and we have to do a cd ... I am going to stop the server, right? So I am going to say poetry run demo and stop.sh. So this is how you stop the server. Once you stop the server, you can see that it is actually informing that it's killing the server, and then you have to run the clean.sh. This way your repository will be clean, and you don't need to worry about the server files clogging the entire repository, especially the database. Let me go into the demo folder right now, and you'll see that demo folder does not contain the 8080 folder itself. So after you run clean.sh, the entire folder is getting deleted. This is the entire process of starting from the bare minimum Ubuntu mission, installing downloading the repo, installing Rust. You don't need Postgres, as I already told. Installing pip, working with poetry. This particular command is important. You need to export the variable. You need to install the dependencies, install libsystemd, create this particular folder, which is again optional since we are going to use the steps. Once you do all the steps, you have connected to the server also using element.io. With this said, I believe that you have learned a thing or two from this discussion. Stay tuned for next couple of discussions where I will be starting to work with Synapse Admin, one of the I shouldn't say software. It's kind of a add-on that you can use with the Matrix servers. That is one thing, and I'll be then working upon various bots that is available in the Matrix environment. You are going to learn a lot, and my intention is to make you guys a power user of Matrix. So with that said, I believe that you have learned a lot from this video. Do leave a like and share this video with others who are interested in the Matrix communication system and servers, and stay tuned for next videos, guys. Till the next video, practice, explore. See you guys. Have a great time.